All right, fellas. Testosterone. That's a topic today. And I'm running a risk because Teddy's right there. He's tired, but I don't know if he's tired enough to stay dormant throughout this entire podcast. But the topic of the podcast today is testosterone. And we're going to clear up a lot with testosterone because increasing testosterone is a very simple thing. And I get asked about this a lot. And what people usually want to hear are quick tips, supplements, little gimmicks that they can use to boost their testosterone levels. But the reality is, there's probably one thing in your life that you can do to boost your testosterone levels that will make the greatest impact. So this podcast is purely about testosterone, and it's going to be short and it's going to be sweet. I'm going to go through different categories. If you are experiencing this, then you need to do this. If you're not experiencing this, then you should look to these things. So first, get your testosterone levels checked. Go to your doctor. In the States, you guys have some different methods that you can use, which is awesome. I think up here in Canada, we might only have the doctor as a way to check testosterone levels. So first thing you do is check your testosterone levels. See what's what. What's your free testosterone number? What's your overall testosterone number? And what is your cortisol and estrogen numbers? You want your cortisol and estrogen levels to be low in relation to your testosterone levels. All right. So now let's go to the one thing that you need to do. If you're overweight, if you're above 15% body fat and you're doing really good body fat testing, or if you're, if you want to be in that around 10 to 12% range, if you're above that, if you're in the 20, 25, 30, whatever ranges, the one thing that you need to do is to lower your body fat percentage, your body fat level. You want to cut fat. Fat is extremely estrogenic. If you're experiencing low testosterone levels and you're overweight, that's the one thing that you need to do. You need to get your weight back under control. Now, how do you do that? I'll put a link in the description below because I don't want to spend a whole podcast on weight loss. I'll put a link in the description below for those of you that are overweight, what you need to do to get your body fat levels down and to boost testosterone. Boost your testosterone levels, because body fat, if your body fat levels up, your estrogen levels are up. You need to bring those down, and that will help your testosterone levels at least have the ability to produce optimally, and that's what you want. In the fight for fat loss, your best friend is going to be muscle. So don't think about cardio, don't think about walking and all. Don't think about those as your first means to burn more fat. You want to fix your diet. And I'll put a link for a good diet down below. And you want to strength train. You want to build lean muscle mass. So I'll put that down below as well. So if you're not overweight, what could be affecting your testosterone levels? A lot of the time it's cortisol. So cortisol is a stress hormone. If you have high stress levels, if you have high cortisol levels, you're likely stressing too much, worrying too much. You may be drinking too much coffee. You may be overtraining in that you're not allowing your body to recover and you're not practicing proper recovery techniques. I don't know if there is necessarily overtraining. I think it all has to do with getting to a point that your body can recover from whatever you're doing. So if your cortisol levels are high, the things you can do are, oddly enough, is read a book. Now, for those of you watching, my book's upstairs. But one of the books you should read is Man's Search for Meaning. The other book you should read is The Thoughts of a Philosophical Fighter Pilot by Jim Stockdale. And read anything by or about Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius. Those things, stress is not something that we need to remove from our lives. In fact, some of the greatest accomplishments in human history have been under the most intense pressure. So pressure makes diamonds or bust pipes. It's all how you use the pressure, how you use the stress that will lower those cortisol levels and help you produce optimal testosterone levels. The second one thing The second one thing that you can look at with high cortisol levels is a lack of sleep. You have to have not only the duration of your sleep, but you want to have a high quality sleep. And the only way I get high quality sleeps is to have a sleep routine. I'm a guy that grew up with insomnia. I didn't sleep throughout high school, college. I had too much on my mind. I cared too much about things that were out of my control, oddly enough. Take a sip of coffee. So the one fix that I was able to implement was a sleep routine, and that had all the that it was magic for me. And I had sleep doctors look at how I was sleeping. They said, "Oh, you need this light shining on you, and that'll blah blah blah, and all this stupid shit that you can't do in real life. You can't carry a light with you throughout the day. You can't sleep in." One guy said your sleep cycle is different, so you should be sleeping until 11. Obviously, fuck that. So a sleep schedule: go to bed at 8:30 or 9, wake up at 4:30. That's done wonders. So quality sleep may be the one thing that you need to do to lower those cortisol levels, which will then enable your testosterone levels to increase. From there, we can look at estrogen levels. So this is something that you should do anyway, but maybe you have too many chemical estrogens in your diet, in your life, so you got to cut things out like flax and soy. Stop eating those. Stop having those in your diet. Second, stop drinking from plastic bottles. That's a big one. Don't carry your food in plastic. Try to get plastics away from you. Don't keep your coffee in plastics. Opt for glass or metal. So plastics have chemical estrogens or phytoestrogens. They're basically raising the estrogen levels of your body unnaturally. So men need estrogen. We just don't need help. We don't usually need help boosting estrogen. What we're seeing is a 1.25% decline per year in male testosterone levels. So it's the testosterone that we really need to worry about. So get rid of plastics. If you want, you can get rid of your store-bought deodorants and shampoos. What I've found is the all-natural stuff doesn't really mask the smell all that well, so you got to really weigh what you want to do and what you want to remove from your life and what quality of life you want to have. I don't want to be stinky walking around the street. It's not like my testosterone levels are fine now, but if I really wanted to go nuts with it, I don't think that's something that I'm willing to remove from my life. Another thing that I'm not wanting to remove from my life is beer. That being said, I like whiskey, which is a better alternative. I like red wine, which is a better alternative. So when it comes to beer, I'll have one or two, and it'll be at the end of a long work day, long work week. I don't drink beer in excess, because it's the compounding of beers that end up being very estrogenic, and they hurt your hormones. So if you're a daily beer drinker, I'd cut it back. Use it as a reward. Beer's one of the tastiest things we have access to. It's so refreshing. I like beer, but you have to it has a place, so you don't want to over drink beer. It's very estrogenic. So then we've gone through, if you're overweight, you know what to do. I'll put links below. If you aren't overweight, but your cortisol levels are high, you know what to do. But I'll put links below to those books and a couple other things. If you are not overweight and your estrogen levels are high, then we talked about removing chemical estrogens, cutting your beer consumption down, and we talked about flax and soy. Two main things, two very estrogenic foods. Next, let's talk about producing testosterone. So, testosterone comes from cortisol. Oh, no, shit. Testosterone comes from cholesterol. Coffee. So, cholesterol, what we do is we convert cholesterol into testosterone in our testes. That's our primary means of creating testosterone. So, one way to help your body produce more testosterone and free testosterone, I'll give you two things. Testosterone and free testosterone. Free testosterone is the only form of the hormone that a lot of people think matters. So high meat diets that are high in meat, vegetables, fruits, but you need the meats. In comparison to vegetarian diets, they're about 17% less, and we don't know how they studied them. A lot of meat-eating diets are just horrible diets because they have fries, they have their meats in burgers, their meats covered with sauces and all this crap. But so if you have a healthy meat eater and a healthy vegetarian, the healthy meat eater is going to have higher free testosterone levels. That's important. I have meat for breakfast and at least meat for dinner again. Probably breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I might have meat one to three times a day. So you want meat in your diet, but you also want the dietary fats from meats. So you want fish oils, you want a wide range of meats. A healthy cut of bacon is included in there. Eggs are great. But you want healthy fats in your diet. You don't need to go nuts with it, but you want 1 to 2 meals that are very high in healthy fats. And you can have a testosterone shake that I'll talk about in the link below as well. So that's one thing. If you want your body to produce more testosterone, more free testosterone. The second thing you do is take more vitamin D. The studies are doing D3, we can take up to 10,000 IUs. In Canada, we have the stupidest little law that you can only have 1,000 IUs in a single pill or drop. So I have the vitamin D3 I like to use is Athletic Greens D3. I'll grab it here for those of you who are watching. This is the vitamin D I use. It's 4,000 IUs per drop. So I take 2 drops a day. What we're seeing is that the D3 helps you increase free testosterone. So we don't get enough from the sun typically. Sun's the best way to get it. But I'm inside, I'm working. Sun's not always out. So I will supplement, especially in the winter, with a higher dose of D3. Now, to wrap this all up, you're overweight, lose weight. Put links below. You're stressing, you have high cortisol levels, get a better sleep, read a couple books, figure out your stress thing, learn to use it, not avoid it. Remove chemical estrogens from your life and things like flax and soy, and then increase dietary fats for 2 meals a day, ideally. And then I want to add in the best friend that you can have to boost your testosterone level is going to be lean muscle mass. Lean muscle mass will help you stay lean. Muscle mass is very anabolic. You are going to be a healthier, stronger man if you have higher or more lean muscle mass. So the thing you want to focus on with training is definitely strength training if you want to boost your testosterone levels. I'm not going to talk about the surges in testosterone that you get from squats and deadlifts. They're very they're not sustained. You don't get a surge and that's your new testosterone levels. You get a bump, which will help you repair tissue and burn more fat. But the focus of this video was simply, and this podcast was simply to talk about the one thing that you can do in your life. There's usually one thing that'll make the biggest difference. If you're not getting sleep, fix your sleep. If you're overweight, lose weight. If you're not eating enough dietary fat, add more. There's always one thing that we can do, and I'll highlight the different points down below in the blurb. If you're seeing this on YouTube, if you're watching this, head to the site average2alpha.com, go to podcasts, and I'll have a nice blurb underneath there, and then it'll highlight everything step by step that you can do to boost your testosterone levels effectively. So I hope this helped. I hope this was beneficial. Again, don't worry about the supplements. Don't worry about all these little tricks and gimmicks. Focus on one thing that will yield the biggest results. And I hopefully I covered that, and hopefully something within this podcast resonated with you. That's it. Again, I'm Chad Howse. Thanks for listening to another episode of Man Up, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.